All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the undefeated 5-0 Minnesota Vikings in tonight's video. 24 hours from now, you're taking on the Detroit Lions, a fellow NFC contender here at home. Might I add, the Vikings, in fact, are seeking their 7th ever 6-0 start in the National Football League, their first since 2009. It's crazy, man, what we're experiencing right now in the NFC North. 4 top teams in the NFL in point differential, 4 of the top 7 in turnover margin. It's crazy. As a Packers fan, it truly is crazy. Even the Chicago Bears are making some noise here. But we have a game with actual ramifications less than 24 hours from now, like more like 15 hours from the time of this recording, against the Detroit Lions. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But, this Vikings team is so interesting because they're 5-0. Like, they're 5-0, and the Chiefs are coming off a bye week, and so are the Vikings, and it's just crazy to me how we're like a third into the NFL season, but I don't think people and you can take this even with a team like the Chiefs. I don't think people fully believe that this Chiefs team's the same as they've seen in the last couple of years, but this Vikings team even more so. Their last offensive touchdown they've had one offensive touchdown since that Packers 28-7 first half lead all the way back in week 4. It's just such an interesting Minnesota Vikings team. It really is. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I do have a Vikings channel that I've been severely slacking on. The link will be down below, pinned in the comment section. Go check that out. Folks, if we try and get this video to 500 likes for the 5-0 start, that would mean the absolute world to me. I have a crazy statistic here for my Vikings fans watching this video right now. The Minnesota Vikings, I was reading an article, it was over on PFF. I don't read too much PFF because it is paper subscription or whatever the hell that saying would be. The Vikings once again are 5-0. Sam Darnold, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, that Vikings team without Kirk Cousins, they're 5-0 once again. Their strength of schedule to date is fourth. That means they've had the 4th hardest schedule in the National Football League to date. Their strength of schedule remaining, glad you asked, 28th in the NFL. That means the 4th easiest NFL schedule, or I should say strength of schedule remaining in the NFL, belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. You currently have an 87% chance to make the playoffs. You have almost a 50% chance to win the division. But the reason this game has actual ramifications is because it's the Detroit Lions. And I think even though Minnesota's off to a 5-0 start, especially because of the bye week blues, which means pretty much you were on a bye week, so no one talked about the Vikings, no one gave the Vikings respect, no one really remembers the Vikings 5-0 start. It's just a quick league in the NFL. Sam Darnold's been the 4th most pressured quarterback in the NFL at 29.1%. Dalton Reisner will return soon. I was hoping he would return tomorrow. He's not. Same thing applies to TJ Hawkinson. But you have a really interesting matchup tomorrow against the Detroit Lions. And as a Packers fan, I have a just deep admiration for all 4 NFC North teams. I just truly do. That's just my whole childhood. Vikings, Lions, Bears, Packers. I watch all of their games every single weekend. That's just the way I was raised. The Lions have produced back-to-back 40-plus points for the first time since 1962. So my point is, and you guys know this game might not seem important entering week 7 or whatever the hell week we're at. I think it's week 7. But it has implications because the Vikings are making the playoffs and so are the Detroit Lions. But you want home field advantage ideally, right? Whether it's against the Lions, my Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, you want the highest seed not only because of the bye, but home field advantage most importantly. So even though it's week 7, this is a big time game because typically divisional matchups are way more difficult than normal matchups, but it's the Detroit Lions, and they're 4-1 at the time of this recording. Now, what's going to be interesting is Jared Goff versus the entire Minnesota Vikings defense led by Brian Flores. So among 31 qualified quarterbacks, Jared Goff currently ranks number 2 in NFL in EPA when he holds the ball longer for 2.5 seconds. Now, when he gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, he ranks 30th, ahead of only Will Levis in the NFL. Now, they have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. So just straight up, this Vikings defensive line specifically versus one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, that's compelling in and of its own. But amongst qualifying quarterbacks, Jared Goff, 45.3 PFF passer grade or passing grade under pressure. That's 21st in the NFL. Now keep in mind, Minnesota has 178 plays with a blitz. That's the second most in the NFL. They have a 52.4% pass blitz rate, highest in the entire NFL. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup, both Vikings offense versus Detroit's defense and vice versa. Minnesota, once again, defensively, best in the business here. They've allowed only 3.5 yards per carry. That's the third best in the NFL. And the reason you bring that up is because the Detroit Lions, conversely, have one of the better rush offenses in the NFL with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think they call themselves Sonic and Knuckles, something like that. Sorry, I'm not a big Sonic fan. I'm a little too old for that. I was born in 99, so I don't know the Sonic rhetoric. But anyways, this is going to be a crazy game. It really is. But when you look at the Vikings schedule for the next couple of weeks after this Lions game, you've got the Rams, you've got the Colts, you've got the Jags, and you've got the Titans. All right? You should win at least 2 in that stretch. So as long as Minnesota doesn't go on this 6-game losing streak, a 4-5-game losing streak, you're making the playoffs. So I have a lot of interest in tomorrow's football game because going up against Detroit and the NFC North is up for grabs. You have 4 teams above 500. This is the first time since the early 2000s that we've seen something like this many weeks into the regular season. So I don't need to tell my Vikings fans watching this video the ramifications of tomorrow's game. I don't need to tell my Lions fans watching this video the ramifications of tomorrow's game. It's just going to be one hell of a football game, and I can't wait because my Green Bay Packers are taking on the Houston Texans at the same time. We've got a beautiful, unbelievable 1 p.m. primetime slot with these 2 football games. But most importantly, obviously, this is a Vikings video, so we're talking about the Lions-Vikings game. At home, off the bye week, as much as I love Detroit, I'm sorry, Vikings fans watching this video, family born and raised all throughout the Detroit area. I've got Minnesota tomorrow. I can't lie. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But guys, Lions fans, Vikings fans, NFL fans, give me a score prediction for tomorrow's game down below. Peace.